Marty, was this announcement expected?
Well, actually, last night, after Ted Cruz exited the race, his campaign manager said, no, they're staying in it to the end. And then he had a press conference scheduled for Virginia, canceled that, and now NBC News broke the fact that he is actually ducking out of a race. So it's a mild surprise.
What do you think changed, Marty, between last night and today?
Well, I would imagine a lot of the people who he's closest to and some GOP establishment types said, John, you should really just clear the field for Donald Trump. He's going to win the nomination. So out of respect for the process, he probably decided it's best to just get out.
Marty, can we infer from that Republican establishment figures will now be lending their support to Donald Trump?
Well, that's the key question. I don't think you can assume anything, and I'm sure Donald Trump would like to have John Kasich's endorsement, but that's what every one of those Republican establishment types are going to have to decide over the next 6 weeks to the convention, just whether they're going to come out and publicly support the nominee. That is the key question.
Right, and to that point, the RNC chairman, Alex, called for the party to unite behind Donald Trump, the presumptive nominee. Do we look for Ted Cruz, Marty Schenker, to come out and endorse Donald Trump? Do we look for John Kasich to, at some point, say something in support of the presumptive nominee?
Well, again, that is a question that every one of those people will have to dig inside them and decide. Is Donald Trump an effective person to be running the GOP, or do they stand back and just let it happen? The other question is, will these people actually show up at the convention itself? Will they get speaking slots at the convention? These are all decisions that Donald Trump ultimately will be making, and it'll be the next few weeks that will tell a lot about this race. A lot of this is emotional in the day after Trump essentially got the nomination, so give it a few days and people may have second thoughts about whether they endorse him or not.
What kind of rhetoric, or I guess I should say, how do you expect the rhetoric out of the Trump campaign to change now that he is the presumptive nominee?
Well, I don't actually expect that to change a lot. You know, during the campaign, when Donald Trump decided to be more quote-unquote presidential, he came back the very next day and said, you know, that doesn't really work for me. And in fact, he has a point. His populist style, his bravado is what attracts him to his base. So, and I think he's not as effective being presidential as he is being Donald Trump. And I wouldn't suspect his tone to change a lot.